Greetings, citizens, and welcome to another episode of Creative Engineering. I'm your king, Saknila Ice, and this is Creative Engineering. Let's get started. Hello everyone, welcome back to this very special episode 52 of Creative Engineering. In this episode, I'd like to take some time to go around and show all the builds I've done in the last year. Because yes, at December 6th, and so that was like about 2 weeks ago from when this episode went out, was one of last marked 1 year since I had uploaded the first Creative Engineering episode to YouTube. And well, there's also something else big that's going on. The mod pack has been updated to beta 1.2.1. It's available for anyone who chooses to support me on SaknilaIce.com with a paid account. That's Knights or Dukes. So if you become a knight or a duke, let's go sleep. Oh, can't sleep, but right. Well, if you're a knight or duke, you'll be able to download the episode. And well, I mean, not download the episode, but download the mod pack and play along, and help me test it before it goes live. Which it will go live on January 1st. So from the time you download it, you have about 2 weeks left to test if you choose to join before January 1st. If you don't, well, as of January 1st, the pack will be released publicly, and you'll be able to try it out then. But let me show you around my world and show you what I've managed to get done over the course of 1 year. Obviously, I've managed to get this clipboard here and this whole building. This is where I started, to be honest. And we originally started with no storage at all. We had a dirt floor. Now it's nice and smooth stone floor. We've got integrated dynamics, both a crafting job terminal and a storage terminal available to us. We also can access our crates and also our bulk storage upstairs. We also have don't have to use fuel to do our cooking. We also have a bit of integrated dynamics manual stuff over here. We also can do deploying things or milling here. We can do elegance. Oh, we have dry killed blocks in there to make any alloys. And we also have these Farmer's Delight cooking pots and skillets on stoves here, and of course Farmer's Delight cutting board, so we can make food here if we wanted. Plus we can also mix and press. And well, if we go upstairs, you can see we have our big bulk storage, and we have a lot of dirt in there, over 5,000 pieces. So we've got a lot of dirt. Flat world, dirt's like king. Of course, if you don't know, that omnidirectional connector is how we can connect wirelessly to the network. So yeah, we don't have to be here to do this. And each one of these crafting interfaces on these crafting tables gives us 9 slots for various crafting recipes. So we got a bunch of stuff that's automated in here. That's quite nice. Anyways, let's go out and explore the world, even if it is raining. This clipboard has ideas of what I want to do, and I've added episode numbers so I'll know what I want to do for each episode coming up. Speaking of episodes, there will not be any Creative Engineering episodes after this one for the next 2 weeks due to it falling during the Christmas and New Year's holidays. Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve fall on Wednesdays this year, so that means there will be no episodes on those 2 weeks. So I'll be seeing you guys after this episode, at least in Creative Engineering, on January 7th, I think, is the first Creative Engineering episode back. Or January 5th, it's the January 7th, because January 5th is a Monday. However, I will be doing a powered up notes will have an episode come out on the final Monday of this month, which is during that thing. So I will be doing one more video upload before the end of the year. So you can look forward to that as well. These roads were like probably took a good couple of hours to put in because they were annoying, but I feel they were pretty darn important. And then, like, the first thing over here, of course, is our signs. So far, we've managed to get up to gotten what, 3 milestones on YouTube, and we're aiming for a 4th. So thank you for all the support, by the way. And then, of course, over here, we did early on as a kelp farm, and we have copper upgrades for these, so we can get a lot of kelp and dried kelp. This farm, I should probably concentrate on building a roof. Maybe I'll do that, and probably putting a floor in here. So maybe I'll do that during our 2 weeks off. I'll get all the builds up to date that don't have roofs and stuff. Of course, here's our follower sign, folks. As you can tell, it tells the current number of YouTube subs, Rumble followers, and blog members. Blog members is total members. It doesn't count the paid members because, well, last Friday, I told you what happens when I get 25 paid members. I knew, if you haven't checked out my blog, that blog post yet, I strongly suggest you do so. I think you'll enjoy it and maybe be encouraged to consider becoming a member. Also, this Friday's article on my blog is going to be very important because if in the next 7 months I don't get any paid supporters on the blog, at least 5 of them, I will have to remove the blog. The blog will be wiped out because I won't have the money to pay for another year of hosting. That's about 7 months away, so. But that's very crucial. I mean, and this number would turn to 0 because this would change from blog members to Ko-Fi members. And if Ko-Fi happens, well, let's just say I lose all the information that I have. I lose the control of that information of the members. This one would go to a 0, and this would change from blog members to Ko-Fi members. So, plus that. Like I lose that, plus all the articles and stuff that I've written on my blog would disappear, and the central location for my videos would be gone. They'd only be on YouTube and Rumble. I probably wouldn't set up a site again until I actually could guarantee that I had a steady flow of income to support a site. Now, of course, over here we got the greenhouse, where all our various crops are being grown. Including, let's see here, soybeans and cocoa beans. Of course, all our mushrooms and stuff. I mean, we aren't growing any nether. So, only thing we're growing from the nether, I think, is netherwort, and the only thing we're growing from the nether is chorus flower. Is chorus flowers for the chorus things. But yeah, it's pretty. That's taken a while to get up to that point. It's like one of those fun deals. And of course, at the end of this road here, and the intersection with the road behind it, we have our mob farms. Now, the mob farms, I'd say they were the longest ones to do, especially the nether one for the blaze, because, well, that required mob eggs, and, well, for the longest time I didn't have any eggs, as well as I need eggs for these Animal Plains farms. But yeah, and let's go down. This is where all my mob storage stuff gets put. I can tell there's no eggs here. That's because I don't think the chickens actually drops any eggs when it gets killed. And while I got more than enough storage for the eggs that are currently in here, at the other location. Oh, it's nighttime, we can sleep. Good, we can get rid of this rain. But anyways, let's go down the road the other way and see what else we built this past year. I think one of the more pleasing things that I built is this villager trading hall. Because and of course it's got the breeding thing here where I can add more villagers. Of course we got a ton of villagers in there. We got a market called the Emerald Muncher. And we have the villagers here. Some of them are high level, some of them aren't. Of course we can also trade from centrally here. And we still got room upstairs for more. I think we got this level and yeah, so we got 3 floors total. This one's pretty full too, I think, of villagers. Yeah, this one's all full of them too. Unfortunately, we can't get one of them, which is the one that uses the thing. I don't know why that is. Of course, this still has to get done. Like, we need more beds. But this will be done more when I get to the treated wood, because I need that for the turntable, the engineer's crafting table, engineer's circuit table, and the engineer's workbench. But that's when I get to IE, which will be in a couple of episodes after I return. But that's the only hint I'll have about that change. Yeah, this was... And then, of course, don't forget last episode, we built this beautiful Greek-style temple that's actually a library. These books are waiting for when we get, if we fish up any books when we go fishing, like down in the future. Of course, our enchanting, also enchanting table where we enchanted all our gear and added stuff. Where we can enchant our gear and add stuff, like we added Fasten 3 and Fire Protection 4 to our back. We added Fair Falling 4 and Break 3 to our boots. I mean, mending we got elsewhere, but if we want, I could add more enchants to my things. Although I learned that you really shouldn't add efficiency to a shovel because it can make it harder to work. Of course, don't forget, we built this earlier to automate our rockets, so we just put the dirt in and then look up and watch the rockets go whenever we have a celebration for reaching a milestone. Unfortunately, we haven't had to use this because we haven't hit any milestones, either on the blog, or on YouTube, or on Rumble. So, if you would like to see another rocket fire before the end of the series, help us hit our milestone. Like I said, the next milestone for YouTube is 250. The first milestone for both Rumble and the blog is just 25. So that means we need 20. It means I need at least 24 more people to join the blog and 21 people to follow me on Rumble. It's possible. It's quite possible, quite easily. Of course, the very first factory I've ever built in this world, which I still have not completed. Remind me, I really need to get this done one of these days. It does have a roof, just the floor is grass still. Is my sifting and processing factory, as well as also make stone bricks, and have general storage of stuff that I don't need elsewhere, like flint, which is at 2K. I clearly have to upgrade some of the stuff here for more stuff, but anyways, that's that problem. I mean, and else, of course, we're also generating cobble deep slate, calcite here. We are generating basalt here for probably because I chose not to, but we are generating endstone here as well. And we also, of course, set up this mechanical crafter, which was very important for me to get the extendo grip and my jetpack, which, as you can tell, I found out how to turn it off, so whenever I hit the jump key, I don't go flying off into the air. But yeah, this constantly sifts soul sand, and gravel, and the soul sand goes here while the sand and gravel go in there, and then it gets sorted and dealt with. Quite useful, actually. But probably one of the more harder things I had to build, at least initially, was the power station. I mean, we're using 12%, only used 12% of its power so far, so that's pretty good, I'd have to say. But the real problem with it was that I needed to get eggs to make these blaze burners, because, well, in order to get this up to the full power that I was at. I mean, originally I was up at, like, I think, only like 3 or 4 of them before I got to full power. I mean, that was still a respectable 65,000 stress units, but still. Full power and full speed is like the best. Of course, we also had to set up all of these display links here. 128,000, and it should be displaying more than that. Okay, so which one of these is the used ones? I know I broke one of these. I think I gotta go replace this one. I'll do that right now. Maybe it just wasn't updating. I don't know. There we go. There we go. Now that's looking more accurate. 18,000 is a lot more accurate because we're having a lot more things that are constantly running. So, but still, we got a ton of stress units in there that's being used. That still, like I said, this was a pain. And of course, setting that up was a little bit annoying. I mean, I did have to also upgrade the water source to tier 3, and then make an improved pipe upgrade. Although I've learned not to use these. Although I'm not using these in my private world, I'm actually I'm not using these fluid pipes. I'm not using them. I'm using crates. So it's actually quite interesting. And these are so it's like different but similar. So I've learned some things since I built that. Anyways, on to the next one, which was I think it was the egg and bread factory. Yeah. So this is really what held me up the longest time because not producing any. Probably because not down low enough, probably, that's why. And this is also full of bread, so got plenty of bread still, so of course any seeds go in there, so yeah, so like this was like a fun build. I remember doing this one. This was fun. And then of course when I switched over from refined storage to integrated dynamics for my network mod, yeah, I had to reconnect that up, and that was fun. that was sort of fun. That was a sort of a fun time. And I think I built this over here, which is my andesite factory as well as my stone factory. I mean, I produce andesite stone and smooth stone, so it's like, I mean, andesite alloys, so it's like pretty darn important. I mean, with a steady supply of andesite alloy, you can get everything's built. Like over here is my what I call a sawmill. That's because it's well, it makes bamboo blocks, stripped bamboo blocks, stripped oak, stripped jungle, and of course planks. All which are pretty important for me. Of course, it also makes tree bark and straw. Which, surprise, surprise, I haven't used that much of. Oh, it's getting late. Let's sleep again. This is going to be a little bit longer episode, but that's okay, because I'm thrilled to show you guys what I built this last year, because it was a lot. And then, of course, over here, after the sawmill, I built this, which was my glass factory, where I'm producing glass, charcoal, and of course, I'm processing mineral logs. That's right, so it's a fun thing, and I think this is actually controlled by if there's any mineral. Since there's no mineral logs in there, it doesn't run. Of course, these are all filled up. So that's why that's one of the reasons why we don't use that much power, because I use threshold switches to control. Threshold switches and redstone links with clutches to control how much power I use. So that was something I learned early on. Save power by, if you don't need to have stuff running 24/7. You don't need to avoid off excess. Instead, use those threshold switches, even when they're early. Even when it's early and they're expensive. Do them. And it'll save you a ton of headaches down the road. Now, of course, over here, we've got our our sugar and paper factory. We've got, I think, crafting for dye. This is our dye factory. Sugarcane, and dyes. So this was I think this was because I was doing the rockets. Yeah, I was preparing for stuff for rockets. That's why I built that when I did. Now I built this over here, which is my diamond factory. And wow, we're at 3% storage. Only 3% diamonds full? 173%, huh? Not bad. So, but this is like unique to to this mod pack, folks. As it turns logs into charcoal, and then charcoal is turned into coal, and then the coal is turned into blocks of coal, and then the blocks of coal are turned into diamonds. It's actually unique to this mod pack, unless you have a specific certain create mods in it, but it was a fun build, I think. Really fun build. Now, of course, we have this one, which is our shaft and cog factory. Yes, this was also a fun one to do too. And once I had this one automated, precision mechanisms were pretty darn easy to set up. And I think that was next. Yes, over here is where I set them up. It starts with gold ingots being imported, and then gold, which are first turned into gold sheets, and then they're sent along to be made into the precision mechanisms. Still got 41 of those, despite how often I use them. And of course, the junk gets sent in there, and the incomplete ones come back down this line and come in here, and then go out as necessary. It's one of those more fun builds. And trust you me, I've been using quite a bit of these precision mechanisms on my on Netherworld, because I used a lot of those mechanical arms which require one of those. And believe you me, setting this factory up saved me a lot of time. So if really Precision Mechanism Factory is huge and great, trust you me. Now of course we got over here, we got our copper factory and copper and casings factory. So this one was big too, because casings, well, automated casings, that's automated gearboxes, that's automated a lot of stuff. Also I need to put a bit more lighting in here, I think. It's too dark in here. I mean, I don't have mob spawning because it's peaceful mode, but still. Ugh. I mean, then we got, oh, we were in there already, okay. So the next one is this one, I think. Yes. Oh, this one was fun. This one was the factory. This is actually a huge factory because this one made, started generating blackstone, and then it turned the blackstone into magma, and then to wash the magma block, but spouted lava onto the blackstone to get magma blocks, and wash the magma blocks to get obsidian. And then, of course, over here, produces the dust as required. And then this line, I think that makes a certain sheet. Yeah, it makes a certain sheet. And then this one here makes the sheets as required, which are the sturdy sheets, which are useful for train stuff. And of course it needs lava as well, so this was like a fun build. It was also a big factory. Took me a while to build. Took me a while to thanks to my builder's wand, it didn't take me long to build stuff, but still, some of these builds took me a while to do. I was in there, so down there is the next one. Okay, then I think I went to here. Yeah. Oh, and this one was fun. This one was my dairy and bakery build. So this one is where I made soy milk, and then here's where I did the milk spouting for various things. Then over here is where I think I'm milling something here. It's probably oh, it's making flour. This is my flour factory, yes. And then this can turn the flour as needed into dough. And then I think this, oh, this is making raw pasta as well. As of course, we're also making sweet rolls. Sweet rolls are pretty fun. Of course, we're also making soy milk bottles as well too. So very useful if you want to get deeper into crate mod. I mean, I'll be making honey balls down the road when I get the honey factory set up, so that'll be huge. In fact, that's like something in the near future, so I might do that. No, the honey factory is not in my list of stuff to do, so maybe not. And then, of course, there was this factory. Ooh, this is my Regafunite factory. And, of course, it's also... oh, right, this is my power parts factory, where I'm making Regafunite gems, although it calls them ingots in the thing. Lava quartz and polished lava quartz. We also make the polished rose quartz in there. So like this one was huge because it let me finally automate the electron tubes. And of course there was this build before I built the library, which was my netherite factory. Of course this took like 2 episodes to build, so this was huge. I mean, the first of course is the tough grinder, which got me various nuggets. And of course the blackstone grinder, which has a chance of which produces either coal or netherite shards, which are then turned into ancient debris by combining them with a piece of netherrack in this build. Oh, I need a piece of smooth stone for that. That should not be there. So let's fix that hole in the ground. Holes in the ground? Not acceptable in my books. Anyways, and then of course there's that big high area for this, because I found that the squeezer was the best one at producing these producing these netherite scraps. And of course it's got its own clock. And of course over here the scraps are combined with gold to make the netherite. This was probably the biggest factory that I built. Probably one of the most complex factories, because it took two episodes. Although a couple of the Arab factories took 2 episodes too. But yeah, that's pretty much the whole base. Honestly, folks, I hope that you have enjoyed me going around the base and showing you off all the stuff that we got done in 1 year. I'm looking forward to year 2 after I come back from my holidays from my Christmas holidays in 2 weeks. So until then, folks, my name is Vanilla Ice, your king, and this has been episode 52 of Creative Engineering. I'll see you. I hope that you all have a happy Christmas and a Merry New Year. There was supposed to be a Q&A episode during this episode, but unfortunately no one submitted any questions, either on YouTube or on my blog or via my blog's contact form to me. So I think I'll be putting that off until I'll try to answer some questions at episode 60, which is like 8 more episodes and like probably, including the break, about 10 weeks away. So that gives you about 9 weeks to come up with any questions that you might have about the series, or about me, or about anything or even a bit about technology, or gaming, or Linux. If you got any questions over the next 9 weeks, please feel free to submit them. I think I'll try to continue answering them like I normally do, immediately on YouTube and Rumble, but if they're submitted to my blog, especially by email, I won't answer them in the next episode. Instead, I'll be holding off, and I'll answer them all at episode 60. So that gives you guys some motive to submit any questions on my blog, and also become members there. And of course, if it's closer to there, like say episode 58 or 59, where you submit a question on those comments, maybe I'll answer in episode 60 as well. But any ones that are submitted via my blog, especially from knights or anyone who becomes a knight or a duke there and submits a question that way, via comments on one of my posts there, will definitely be answered first, because I really value the people who choose to support me. So thank you very much. I really appreciate all your support. Believe you me, without you guys, this whole thing would not be possible, and it's definitely not sustainable. So I hope to see you guys all again soon. Take care, God bless, and I'll see you next time. Farewell!